South Carolina public colleges could continue to conceal what they pay student athletes. It's in response to a public records lawsuit filed against the University of South Carolina. It was filed by a Mount Pleasant businessman seeking information about so-called name, image, and likeness payments made by the school to Gamecock football players. Colleges argue disclosing the information either on an individual, athlete, or team basis puts South Carolina at a competitive disadvantage.
Joining us again is our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. We've talked about NIL deals in both North and South Carolina, really since these became legal with college athletes. What's the problem that lawmakers are trying to solve here, and why are they moving this so quickly?
It was moving quickly, as Andy mentioned in the open, that there's a lawsuit that's pending, and we want to get something on the books that can address this before this judge even has an opportunity to make a determination. So passed in the House already, going to the Senate. What I can tell you is McMaster's, even if it gets to his desk, it's not certain that he'll sign it. He's already opposed NIL deals a number of times in the past. I don't think he wants to open this up any deeper than it already is. The argument will be pretty clear that supporters of this bill, these are big universities, these are legislative leaders, are going to say that this is private money, not taxpayer money. Disclosure would hurt, as you said, recruiting. It will put them at a disadvantage. On the other end, folks are saying, no, these are private dollars. So there are probably 6 different arguments that I would argue if I was representing either side, but 3 are going to come down to how this one gets worked out. Violation of the Freedom of Information Act. You got to hit on a couple things. Are these state actors? Well, we clearly know they're state actors. They're public universities. Is this an extension of those agencies? Are these NIL deals an extension of the public action? Well, that's going to be clear. And therefore, are these contracts tied to recruiting, to housing, to anything like that, to a public business? If you can do that, they're going to have to release that under the FOIA request regardless. Then are there public funds? The argument will be, well, private donors are giving this money. Once those private donors' dollars transfer to the university, they're no longer private donors' dollars. They're now public, and it should be open to transparency for you to be able to have an opportunity to see them. That's why we have FOIA requests. So I think those 2 arguments alone will stop any bill like this from being able to be in place.
Is part of that argument that now that universities can directly pay players, that they are essentially an employee of the university, and you can see a university, you can look it up on a college and see what your football coach makes. You can see what your professor makes, right? So is that the argument there?
You're looking at my notes because that's my 3rd statement. It's right there.
I didn't cheat, I
This
promise.
special legislation, it creates equal protection issues because carved in the law says coaches' salaries will still be public. Buyouts are public. Vendor contracts are public. But these NIL deals won't be public. And they're saying, well, why do we have this equal or non-equal treatment of contracts that are public dollars? If it's all coming out of the same pot, if it's money coming from the university given to a person, we should be able to see where it goes, regardless of it going to a coach's hand or a student hand. So they're following your argument. That is what they're making in this argument as well.
Do you think there's a compromise that could maybe make both sides somewhat happy?
I don't think this is one where you can, both sides can come to the table and make an agreement because it's either you're transparent or you're not. Either you're going to give me access to the books or you won't. I mean, and this individual wants to see the documents. They want to see the deals. They want to see where public dollars are going. And so if you're not going to give them access, it can't be, all right, I'll let you have access to it, but you can't tell anybody about it. I mean, that's the only way that you can get,
Or an overall amount doesn't really help. People want to know specifically what these players are making.
They want to know player by player, just like to Andy's point, coach by coach. You know exactly, hey, he just got this contract, and it helps for the players. If you have access to see what another person's making, you know what the market is at now. And so I agree with the university's argument to say now it hurts us and makes us less competitive because now all our numbers are out there. That secrecy helps you in negotiating for the university, but it hurts the players because they don't know what the market is. So you may be worth $20 million, but you're only getting 5 because you didn't know that they were paying someone a little bit higher.
And that can open up a whole other can of worms within a team, even though that's not their main focus here. Are there other states that do keep this information private?
Yeah, there are states that are attempting to do this same thing right now. I mean, I say this a lot here when we have these new type of legislations, building the plane and attempting to fly it. NIL was a theory. It was something that people were talking about, and all of a sudden it jumped right on top of us. So there's not enough legislation or regulation around it in general. The NCAA is lagged behind. States are lagged behind. So there are a number of of states that are attempting to implement this right now. I just think implementation of something like this to close it, to stop disclosure of it, is going to be hard to implement with transparency laws that we have in place right now, FOIA being one of them, public dollars. Unless they make these payments completely private, which the NCAA doesn't want to do that, because that takes us back 20 or 30 years, I think we're in a really a pickle.
Okay. All right. Our Chief Legal Analyst, Khalif Rhodes, weighing in on that. Thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.